The Puritans of the Massachusetts Bay Colony in the late 1600s had been warned for years of a danger lurking in each of their homes. And it wasn't imaginary, it was real, hidden right in front of them. Eggs. Now, the Puritans of the Massachusetts Bay Colony were by every measure a bold and courageous bunch. Inspired by a desire to practice their religion without interference, they had left the home they knew, braved a treacherous ocean crossing, and colonized a perilous new world. Ironically, it was the very religion that motivated these feats that caused them to wither and tremble at harmless items in their own kitchens. Puritanism had very strict and specific rules. One favorite topic of condemnation was folk magic. Puritan ministers loved to preach against the dangers of folk magic, or so-called white magic. The following appeared in a sermon by Reverend Deodat Lawson, minister in Salem from 1684 to 1688.
The sieve and scissors, the Bible and key, the white of an egg in a glass, the horseshoe nailed on the threshold, a stone hung over the rack in a stable, with many more which I would not make known to any that are ignorant of them, because they are no better than conjurations. And if in the use of them discoveries are made, or effects produced to the gratifying of their sinful curiosity in any degree, it must be from the devil, and not from God, who never instituted any such ways, by and in which to discover secret things or future events to the children of men.
The white of an egg in a glass, or Venus glass, was a type of ovomancy, or egg divination, and it was not original to the Puritans, or even their European contemporaries. Although ovomancy was thought to have originated in ancient Greece, there is a belief that this practice had also been used by ancient Druids in Scotland. Egg divination was often used by pregnant women to learn about the baby growing in their womb. While there were different methods of divining the knowledge that eggs had to offer, including rubbing a raw egg on a pregnant mother's belly, or incubating a chicken egg between a pregnant woman's breasts, the method known as the Venus glass was probably the most commonly used in New England in the late 17th century. And this is the method that a group of young girls in Salem Village employed just months before the famous witch hysteria began. Don't try this at home. The girls would crack an egg, separating the yolk from the white. They would then drop the egg white into a glass of water and watch it carefully, looking for significant shapes in the undulating ooze to help them discover hints about who their future husbands would be. Now, not every Puritan adhered to their religious practices with the same strictness. Some didn't mind a little bit of superstition, or an old wives' tale here and there, a bit of magic passed down through generations from the old country. The life of a Puritan child wasn't necessarily all chores and scripture study either. Some fun and games were certainly allowed, but for two Salem girls in particular, Betty Parris and Abigail Williams, any form of folk magic would have been completely off limits. Betty and Abigail were the daughter and niece of Samuel Parris, the village minister, and given that most ministers preached against the dangers of using folk magic, it is highly unlikely that Betty and Abigail would have received permission to play this game. What they did in secret. During one of their Venus glass sessions, the girls became terrified when the shape they saw resembled a coffin. Seeing something so foreboding while doing something so forbidden scared them immensely. It was not long after this that Betty and Abigail succumbed to the mysterious illness that would eventually be blamed on witchcraft and launched the whole Salem witch hysteria. Was there any connection between the Venus glass and Betty and Abigail's illness? It's impossible to say. But the anxiety the girls might have felt from their secret fortune-telling games could have contributed to their afflicted behaviors. The cause of the Salem Witch Trials has been debated and speculated on since they happened. Could something as simple as an egg have contributed to the hysteria? Perhaps when people live in a world where they are taught that there is danger lurking in every corner, even their breakfast is suspect. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. We also recommend you watch our film, I Be a Witch, which tells the personal story of one woman and her family and how they were affected by the witch trials in Salem.